What up, guys? Welcome to another video. Another reaction video. We're gonna be reacting to Death Battle. Shigaraki versus Mahito. This is a older Death Battle, but I thought it'd be a cool, reaction video. So let's jump right in. Right.
Shigaraki versus Mahito.
The symbol of
Right,
fear
Shigaraki versus
the
Mahito,
human
boys.
Disaster curse.
He's Wiz and I'm Boomstick.
And it's
Okay.
our job to analyze their weapons, armor, and skills to find out who
Weapons,
would
armor,
win
and
a
skill.
death battle.
Death Battle! They used to say that every
Tenko
single time.
Shimura was just a sweet, shy boy who
Mhm.
loved superheroes.
But sometimes the hand of fate can't abide sweet shy boys.
Yeah.
Ruthlessly beaten and abused by his hero-hating father, Tenko pushed beyond his emotional limits until he activated his inherent super.
Yeah, his dad was a piece of shit. What he did to Tenko, or I guess Shigaraki, was pretty fucked up. If it weren't for him, I don't think All For One would have been able to like creep in and sort of manipulate Shigaraki as much as he did. But because his father was who his father was, and he did it the way he did it, yeah, Shigaraki was like prime pickings for one. The scumbag that man is. So his dad was a piece of shit. Yeah. Let's continue.
Power or quirk.
It wasn't something cool like flight or super strength.
Mhm.
In his terror, he accidentally killed his whole family. Well, except for dear old dad. That one was intentional.
Yeah.
Tenko wandered the
was.
streets alone, silently begging for someone,
Okay.
anyone, to help him. If only a hero was there to save him. But instead, the only open hand he found belonged to the devil.
All for one.
And
The
that
greatest
devil,
super
this is why you don't sign a
villain
deal with the
He
devil,
took
ladies and
Tenko under
gentlemen.
his wing,
That is why you don't
feeding
sign a
him
deal with the
hatred of
devil.
Everyone and everything, and grooming him to one day lead his league of villains in destroying hero society.
With that came a new name, Tomura Shigaraki, and an absolutely nightmarish quirk, Decay. It does what it says on the tin.
Yep.
Anything Shiggy touches with all 5 fingers turns to dust. The perfect
Scary ass
power for
quirk
someone
by
who
him,
just
to
wants
be honest. That
destroy.
shit.
Pretty
Whew.
menacing, if
You don't want
not
that.
for
You don't want that.
dorky-ass costume. I get it, hands are his thing, but come on. They just look so dumb and fake.
Oh, those aren't prosthetics. Those are real hands
Hmm.
from his family that he killed, attached to his face, and explicitly commanded
Yeah.
to be left there by his mentor.
If
so
this
that he-
doesn't prove that All For One is like scum of the earth, a goddamn psychopath, I don't know what does. Cause holy shit, dude, forcing like a 5-year-old child to wear the hands, like membered hands of his family on his body, is something like you would only see in a goddamn horror film, bro. That's Jesus, man. All For One did not fuck around.
he would never forget his rage.
Okay.
While his use of decay started off relatively weak, it
Yeah.
rapidly increased in power and range as Shigaraki came into his own.
Decay isn't even limited to whatever he's touching. Anything that touches something he's decaying also decays.
Spreading like an all-consuming miasma
That shit's
could
broken,
wipe
by the
out
way.
Anything from an enormous tower to
Broken
an
ass
entire
ability
city.
right there.
If decay reaches you, your only hope is to isolate the body part that is disintegrating before
Oh.
it gets to something vital.
After years of training with the greatest supervillain of all time, Shigaraki was finally put in charge of his own team with one mission. He must kill his master's rival, the #1 hero,
All Might.
Only
Yeah.
to fall flat on his face.
He didn't-
Shigaraki was
he-
a
he
terrible
sucked at
leader,
that part, bro.
quick-tempered, short-sighted, and
In fact, Shigaraki sucked at it so bad that he failed multiple times in his attempts to try to take out All Might. And in the end, even with his master, like, intervening and getting involved, they still couldn't take out All Might. All Might's still alive. That's the fucked up thing. They both ended up, they both ended up happening to what happened to them. And All Might's the one that's, still alive. Like, they did everything they could. They sent villains, like, they still, like, All Might's still alive. They fucking failed at everything they did.
well,
Cringe! Oh, he's just so cringe.
Yeah.
He uses gamer
I wouldn't say he's
lingo
cringe.
unironically.
Oh, yeah, he
whines
did
like
play
a
video
baby
games.
when things don't go his way. He's the kind of guy who would say normie in real life, in front of normies.
But
He
they
did do
say
that, though.
defeat is the
He did
greatest
say
teacher
normie.
of all. Only through struggle could Shigaraki manifest
I think he
his
did say that
dark
in the anime,
conviction.
in the dub
Right
version.
as All Might's new protege, Izuku Midoriya, was coming into his own as well.
These two rivals, the inheritors of their master's blood feud, would push themselves past their own limitations.
Yeah.
Especially when All Might and All For One double KO'd each other, leaving Shigaraki to lead the League of Villains all by himself.
And with the stakes higher than ever before, Shigaraki stepped up. He
Yeah.
personally battled the monstrous Gigantomachia for a month and a half straight and conquered
Which
other-
is, with that feat alone, is fucking crazy. That he fought Gigantomachia that long. Seeing what the type of damage that Gigantomachia could do, like Gigantomachia can level a whole ass city by himself. I guess in like power scaling terms, he's like city level, I guess. Maybe a little bit above city level, like maybe like mountain level. I don't know, but yeah, Gigantomachia is a fucking beast, and Shigaraki going 1-on-1 with him, pretty surprising, especially like around this time. This was before he awakened all those secondary quirks he got from the Dr. Ujigo. Pretty good feat.
Villain
I don't know how that
organizations
compares
create
to
the Paranormal
Mahito, though.
Liberation Front. Thousands of new soldiers for his personal army.
All
Yeah.
to impress All For One's personal quack, Dr. Ujiko, who spent months upgrading Shigaraki's body to make it more like his sensei's. It might have been constant agony, but Shiggy went from Chud to Chad.
Ujiko's experimentation vastly increased Shigaraki's strength, speed, and durability.
I don't know
Enough
if
to
I would call him a
match
Chad,
and
but
surpass even All Might's
Jesus.
absurd power.
He did go
Sharing
through a lot of
All Might's
pain.
power between them, Deku and Bakugo were able to punch an island-sized hole in a cloud that reached 24 miles into the sky. We've calculated that before to be nearly 80 million megatons of TNT, almost as much as the meteor that wiped out the dinosaurs.
Yeah, but that took two of them,
Shigaraki
so
can now move fast enough that his body produces hypersonic
that wasn't one
shockwaves and
Deku.
can
That was
even
two,
catch
like all
laser
for
beams.
And
one
he's
for
tough
alls.
enough to survive Star and Stripes Intercontinental Ballistic Cruise Punch.
which is
Suit up,
insane, by the
Violet.
way.
Mecha
That's an
Break is
insane
live.
thing to
Now
survive.
on PC with Google.
Or at
Now
his,
the new name for my penis. Move over, Gigantico Megastorm. Anyway, it also made a
Jesus,
blast
bro.
so big it showed up against the curvature of the Earth.
Though he might seem invincible, when Shigaraki's body is pushed hard enough, he will evolve into a state of uncontrollable power.
So Decay became, oh shit, more hands.
Shigaraki
Oh.
can spontaneously generate flesh
Jesus.
into existence, seemingly oceans of it in an instant, whenever he wants. He can even use it as a type of armor to defend himself in close combat.
But that's nothing
Yeah, Shigaraki was
compared
a
to
free-
Ujiko's
is a
greatest gift.
freaky deaky with his
Shigaraki
abilities,
wanted to
man.
be the new All
That
For
shit
One.
looked
So what better
horrifying.
way than the old man's quirk?
All for One's quirk, All for One, allows its user to steal
Yeah.
and store quirks with just a touch.
And All For One has hundreds of them stored up, collected over the years.
Each quirk is connected to a memory of its user's essence in the form of a spirit, a
Yeah.
vestige.
Kinda like a piece of their soul. They exist in this kinda psychic world in Shigaraki's body, and can even act as a spiritual defense should it be invaded.
And with those vestiges came quirks like super fast healing, air blasts, radio waves, flight, telekinesis, teleportation of others, and the ability to track foes.
He can even
Basically
combine
everything.
multiple quirks together, like in this big-ass electric Kamehameha.
However, any vestige stolen or destroyed will also remove that quirk from Shigaraki's repertoire. They're also sentient, and some can even fight for control.
Which is when the second shoe finally dropped. Because Shigaraki also got All For One's vestige,
Yeah.
that means All For One was now in possession of a shiny new body that he'd spent the last 15 years molding for him to take over.
Shigaraki's entire existence was planned from the beginning.
Yep.
Why? Because All Might's previous mentor was Nana Shimura,
Yep.
Tenko's grandmother.
Oh, that to mess with All Might.
What a
That is some next level hating
motherfucking
right there.
He
Jerk.
manipulated Shigaraki's entire
Sorry for my language, but yeah, that was awful,
all
man.
for one
Ah.
purpose. To create a soul so corrupted, it would grind away at All Might's perfect world, allowing All for One to take full control.
Yeah.
All for One's possession wasn't complete, and Shiggy managed to fight his way back to the top, literally decaying his way through vestiges in the process, all to fight his rival Deku one last time.
Despite Izuku's best efforts to save him, Shigaraki was too far gone. His spirit decayed by years of venomous hatred.
Yep.
And the new symbol of hope defeated the new symbol of fear,
The-
burying All for One's grudge for good.
And that's one thing that I did love is that Horikoshi didn't, like, how do I say this, back out and like try to redeem redeem anybody. He didn't redeem Shigaraki because Shigaraki in the end still died. He still got punishment for all the sins he did and everything that he did. Like, he was too far gone. The hatred, the anger, the resentment was just him at that point. Like, that was all that was left of Tenko. Like, little Tenko was gone by that point, which is really fucking sad. But I'm glad Horikoshi didn't go with that and like have him, be forgiven. Good way.
All that Shigaraki asked was to be remembered as the heartless destroyer he
Yep,
was raised
that's
to
what he
be.
wanted to be remembered as.
Not the broken, angry, crying little boy he really was deep inside.
For just that one moment, though, Shiggy got in Deku the only thing he'd been denied his whole life. The one thing his lifelong nihilistic
Yep.
tantrum was really all about. He got a hero who tried to save him.
Yep, that's what he wanted.
This battle is sponsored by Robin Hood Gold.
Ironically, if you would have gotten that when he was a kid, and I think Horikoshi in the manga did something very beautiful with like that same lady that ignored Tenko before. She saw another kid in a similar situation, and she's like, I'm not gonna ignore that kid this time. Because she realized, like, she was haunted by the fact of, like, what happened to the boy. Like, she didn't know what happened. She didn't know that the boy that she failed to save that day turned out to be Shigaraki. And so I guess because that ate out of her, she finally said, fuck it, I'm not gonna, regret anything. And so she took in the boy that was like that we thought would become the new All for One or something, and the new bad guy, but it was sort of a way to show that the cycle was broken, that finally there will be a hero for you, that there will be no one left behind, hopefully. Right? There was like an essence of hope with that scene.
With
It was really
Robin
beautiful.
Hood Gold, you can now enjoy the VIP treatment, receiving a 3% IRA match on retirement contributions.
The privileges of the very privileged are no longer
Alright, let's skip this shit.
exclusive. With Robin Hood Gold, your annual...
There we go. I'm all for them getting the bag, but like, yeah, it's it makes the video
Ever
longer.
since Cain slew his brother Abel and wetted his fields with his blood,
Yeah,
man's greatest fear
Cain is the
has
worst
been his
thing,
fellow man.
like is considered one of the
But what
scariest
if
dudes
this
because he
fear
killed his
took on a
brother
life of
for
its
no
own?
reason. He wasn't
What
even
if
tempted
all
by the
that negative
devil.
emotion
He just straight up did it.
one another spilled from their bodies and congealed, forming over time a living being fueled by malice, which believes in nothing but the law of the jungle.
Well, then you'd have the special grade curse with the patch face, Mahito.
Yeah.
Oh, I've had people tell me I've become a human disaster curse when I've had too many mojitos.
Mahito is one of the deadliest beings to ever afflict
He's
mankind.
5'11"?
He's no mere
Pretty
mortal,
tall.
though, but a cursed spirit.
Yeah.
Innumerable spirits exist.
Fan of
They
JRR
are
token is
stronger
crazy.
depending on the
Where
amount
the
of
hell did that come
anxieties,
from?
Jealousies, hatreds, and fears humans feel about them.
Like the fear of locusts, kinda weak. Or the fear of smallpox, getting stronger. Or the fear of fire. Oh, goodbye, Tokyo.
So it follows that mankind's fear of itself would be extremely powerful. Those negative emotions
Yep.
manifest as Mahito, a being composed of cursed energy.
It's basically like evil ki. Cursed energy
Yep.
can be used to make spirits way stronger, faster, and tougher than any normal human. And it's invisible, making curses like Mahito impossible for the untrained eye to see.
Yeah, you have to be a
Only
a
life or
jujutsu
death
sorcerer.
situation can galvanize a normal person to see a cursed spirit.
That also makes cursed spirits virtually immune to physical damage. They may be physically present in space, but can only be harmed by attacks that embody spirit matter like cursed energy.
Which makes curses insanely hard to get rid of, like ghosts, cockroaches, or my ex. That's why you need a jujutsu sorcerer to come in and Kaizen the shit out of them. They call it exorcism, but I like the way I said it better.
Jujutsu Kaisen spirit battle, yeah.
Millennia, waging an endless war over the fate of humanity. Almost exclusively in Japan, though, for some reason.
Yep.
But Mahito was special. You see, most curses
Well,
are
later on in the
basically
manga, they do include
but
other
Mahito has
countries.
So
So
much cursed energy that it gave him sentience.
So he was recruited by Kenjaku alongside other special grade disaster curses to wreak havoc upon the world. In fact, they made Mahito their leader.
And even more frightening than intelligence and bloodlust, Mahito possessed philosophy.
Perhaps informed by
Jesus.
the tragic meaninglessness of
Scary,
interhuman
bros.
conflict,
Scary, guys.
Mahito
Philosophy.
is an existential nihilist, believing in nothing but his own.
if you're
will to
hungry,
power.
eat. If you hate,
It's a
kill.
dog-eat-dog world,
Which
and
is a-
Mahito
Which is
the
a really fucked up way of thinking. Like, oh, if you hate someone, bro, kill them. That's a fucked up way of thinking. Yeah, Mahito's thought process and like the way he thought about things is goddamn scary. Like, it's kind of really fucked up. Which when he got his ass beat by Yuji, it made it all the more satisfying.
Really get your steps in. He loves to dig around and toy with your emotions
Yeah.
like a cartoon character.
He doesn't feel any
Slightly
remorse for
neutral.
that.
An appropriate analogy considering his curse technique, idol transfiguration.
Yeesh.
Using his cursed energy, Mahito can control anyone's soul with just a touch.
Yep.
Including his own. In fact, he's so good at manipulating his own soul that you can't even kill the bastard without directly targeting it.
In Jujutsu Kaisen, the soul and the body share an immutable connection. Whatever happens to the former affects the latter.
This
Yep.
lets Mahito squash, stretch, and shape-shift his body into literally anything he wants.
Soul
Like
manipulation,
Play-Doh, he can
pretty good
turn his
ability.
limbs into
Cloning,
blades or
yeah,
clubs,
that's
grow wings
instant
like a
body of
bird,
distorted
face like a
killing,
fish,
enhanced
transform his
physicality.
body
That one's a
around
weird.
injuries, or
But I think
even
that's like
create
his
clones.
exoskeleton
Curse
form.
users are naturally unharmed by their own ability. Should he touch a human, though, his
Ugh.
alterations to their body are instantly fatal.
And since he's attacking your soul, those physical wounds are gonna be impossible to heal.
Even
Yep.
if his alteration isn't directly fatal, the human body won't last more than a few moments in a transfigured state.
All
Yep.
that with one touch. God, I thought herpes was bad.
His powers mean Mahito treats humans as effectively disposable dolls that he
Yep.
can gleefully
That's what he does,
experiment
it's
on.
fucking
The
gross.
more casualties, the better, especially if he gets
Living
to break your
cockroach of a
spirit
human
first and
or of
watch
a
him suffer.
being. Mahito is one of those people that you just like want to sock, called disgusting,
Even
called
more twisted is when he
a
combines
rat.
two transfigured
He's such a
humans
horrible,
together for
horrible,
soul
horrible
multiplicity.
being.
Essentially a giant torrent of body horror flesh that
Look
he
at that thing.
propels at an opponent. Ugh.
Mahito
Yeesh.
is unbelievably
I agree with
creative his
Moonstick there.
application
Bro.
of idol transfiguration. And despite being a newborn curse,
he's
consistently
a
keeps
child.
experienced sorcerers on the back foot.
It helps that he's a quick study who's picked up a number of different curse techniques, like the Black Flash.
By applying
Yep.
cursed energy within
He stole
one
that from Yuji
microsecond
and,
of impact with an enemy, space
and
itself will
and
distort,
Todo.
exponentially amplifying its force by a factor of 2.5.
Mhm.
Not only does this hurt like a mother, it restores your curse technique and gets you fully in the zone.
And would require reflexes moving nearly 1,000 times the speed of sound. It's no surprise then that Mahito also unlocked the pinnacle of sorcerer techniques,
Yep.
the domain expansion.
Even
Oh,
though,
shit. More
even though in the
hands.
anime he barely uses that fucking thing, and when he does, like, it either gets blocked, or it didn't really have much of an impact on the main characters at least.
A domain
So,
is like a barrier of cursed
it's
energy,
okay
but
with
if
domain.
you're caught inside, Mahito can use idol transfiguration instantly without even needing to touch you.
It's called the self-embodiment of
Yeah,
perfection.
he killed,
the ultimate expression of Mahito's
Nanami there.
absolute control over his victim's body and soul. The only time it ever failed was against the student sorcerer and Mahito's archenemy, Yuji Itadori.
Because not only was Yuji a barf-inducing goody little two-shoes who believed in the inalienable rights of all living things, blah, blah, blah.
He did.
He also had a curse inside of him.
The king of
yep.
curses, Sukuna.
Which
Yeah.
meant Mahito's ability affected both souls in Yuji's body. Sukuna
And
didn't
Sukuna
like
wasn't gonna have that
No
shit.
surprise.
He's like, nah, bro, you ain't
Kicked
gonna put me in your
Mahito's
domain, bro.
ass, forcing Patchface to fight with a handicap whenever facing his pink-haired menace.
Yuji's belief in the value of human life
Yeah.
flew directly in the face of the world that Mahito knew to be cruel and meaningless. So
And he
made
loved
his
fucking with
mission to
Yuji, too.
crush Yuji's spirit before
That
killing
him where he killed the
murdering his
black-haired
friends,
kid and
defiling
made fun of
their
him for it,
corpses, and
or
brutally
killed
battering
Nanami
him
in front of
before
him.
going
Yeah,
in for the
Mahito is
kill.
a
And
fucking
he's got the strength to do
horrible,
it. Mahito's one of the most
disgusting,
powerful cursors in the
smelly,
world, and his growth
deserving
is
of death
exponential.
soul,
Disaster Joko
curse.
was able to
He
summon a
is
massive meteor
bad.
capable of reducing the city of Shibuya to
he doesn't deserve
Taking
forgiveness,
energy
bro.
of over 800 kilotons of TNT.
And
Alright, yeah,
Mahito
that's a
can
joke.
take as good as he can give, especially when, in the throes of struggle against Yuji, he evolved, unlocking a vastly more powerful form, the instant body of distorted killing.
Yep.
Complete with armored exoskeleton and armed blades. This was a taste of the almighty curse Mahito
Made him
was
look like,
growing into. A true blight on
like,
all mankind.
It wouldn't
Hanami a
last.
bit with
In
that
a bitter
form.
battle of resolve, Yuji won out. And a dog
Yuji
eat
still beat
dog
his ass,
world,
yep.
There was now a bigger wolf.
So he tucked
And he
tail
scared the
ran
hell
away
out of him.
like
He
a
ran
bitch.
like a little bitch.
What do
Look
you
at him.
know? Life suddenly became a whole lot more meaningful the second it looked like it was about
Yep.
to end.
All that
Usually with
knowledge-
people like that say life is meaningless is the moment when their life gets put into the corner. They usually, a lot of the time, end up fearing for their lives and end up being no, 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 don't kill me, don't kill me. It's kind of backwards and hypocritical of them that when it comes to other people, they don't care. But when it comes to themselves, all of a sudden it's like, no, don't touch me, don't affect me, right? Those kind of people are sad.
Just a bitter
They're sad.
hypocrisy in the end.
Yep,
For him,
hypocrisy.
maybe, but
Like I said.
Mahito found a convert in his archenemy. After a battle that wiped out thousands of innocent people, Yuji's youthful spirit was gone. The only thing left that mattered was exercising this curse.
Yep.
In a way, that was Mahito's final victory, the destruction of another human being's soul. He may not have been around to see it, but the curse Mahito inflicted on the world would bring it to its knees.
Yeah, sort of changed Yuji
Hey, do you see that
quite a
join button?
bit, yeah.
Yeah, that one. That's your ticket
Because
to being a
Yuji,
Death Battle champion.
Oh,
All right, because Yuji wasn't the same after that. All right, before we get to the final death battle, comment down below who you guys think is gonna win and why, right? And then like jump toward the end of the video and see if you were right. You know what I mean? Like pause it here at exactly 16:51 or 21 minutes in this video, and see exactly when. Like just put down in the comment who you guys think it wins and why, or if you like the outcome. All right, let's see who wins. You know what? I don't really like YouTube's new ad thing, bro. I can get an ad blocker, but like some ad blockers are a little too restricting.
I'd heard of a powerful villain stalking these parts. My organization is
It
going
would look
to
pretty
tear this
dope. I like it.
putrid world down around us. We could use a freak of your talents.
Little old me. Do I want to be king of the social rejects?
King of the social
How about I
rejects.
bring 'em your hands
Maybe. You kind of already are, bro.
Fine by me.
Just
Let's call this your
you smelly,
audition.
bro. You smelly, disgusting individual. No move? Okay.
Game over.
You pushed him back, I guess, with this move. With the lightning move. Ugh. You let them charge.
Did you
Holy
actually
crap.
See that?
Ugh.
God, how lame.
Both of you guys are lame. What? Ooh. Right hook. Kick. Fuck. Is Shigaraki gonna get overwhelmed? Oh no.
Audition over. Did I get the part?
Okay. Black Flash. Okay, so he pushed him to his ultimate form. I wonder if Shigaraki can regenerate fast enough. Okay, he got.
All you got.
Oh, he's decaying him.
Domain expansion.
Oh! Freaky has domain expansion.
Just a scared little boy whose daddy was mean and wants to make it everyone.
Yeah, you would do that. Yeah, sounds about right with Mahito. Disgusting human, disgusting little bit, disgusting little skit, you know? All for one. Similar to Sukuna. Oh, okay, so they're treating all for one like Sukuna in this instance. Interesting.
Your soul too. You only hate humanity because you were born that way. Totally random. I hate them for a reason.
yeah, okay.
You grow up.
Shigaraki absolutely decimated him.
Like a bitch.
With their complex
Like a bitch.
power sets,
Yeah.
this match was
Yeah,
explosive
that is
and
Mahito to a
which is
T,
why we're
like a
breaking
bitch.
it down to 3 categories.
Honestly, cool. Second, I didn't know that they were gonna treat all for one like Sukuna, the equivalent to Sukuna here. So that makes sense. Well, I guess that makes sense with like how he's a secondary soul and how he's really strong and he would prevent Mahito's domain from affecting Shigaraki anyway. So
Physical stats,
okay.
survivability, and their powers.
But first, let's
Survivability
address one
goes
thing.
to
Could
Shigaraki
even see
with
Mahito?
the amount
He's an
of like
invisible curse
healing
after
quirks he
all.
has.
Cursed energy and quirks are notably different, and
Mhm.
Shigaraki wouldn't be able to see curses normally. However, even regular humans can spontaneously develop the ability to see curses in life and death scenarios. And with the Search quirk, Shigaraki would have had no problem tracking it.
So seeing Mahito wouldn't have been an issue. With that out of the way, we can jump into their stats.
This was no contest. Despite the disaster curses being able to destroy entire cities with
Yep.
their cursed energy,
Yep.
Shigaraki's scaling to Deku and Bakugo meant he was
Shigaraki was
calculately
broken.
millions of times stronger.
He was faster too,
Yeah.
considering he could react to light beams, while Mahito's Black Flash capped out at nearly 1,000 times the speed of sound. Nothing
Almost.
to scoff at, but Shiggy was thousands of times faster. Shigaraki takes stats.
But survivability was a little trickier to figure
Yep.
out.
Yep, in terms of raw
I guess.
durability, Shigaraki was a lot tougher, and his ability to generate new flesh meant
Yeah.
that he could heal any wounds
He had
might
so many
receive
regeneration
super easy.
quirks.
However, Mahito is a curse and is immune to the kind of overwhelming physical damage Shigaraki could dish
True,
out.
that's true
Not
too.
only that, Mahito's
Practically
regenerative
unkillable.
ability via idle transfiguration meant that he'd come back from anything short of spiritual damage.
Considering Mahito's unique curse body, he should actually get the edge in survivability.
Which presents
should,
a
yep.
crucial question. Could Shigaraki even kill a curse like Mahito in the first place?
Or would Mahito's unkillability give him the time he needed to eventually put
I'm
Shiggy
sure there's a
down
quirk
with
out there
idle
that
transfiguration?
affects
It all
spirits.
comes down to their powers.
Shigaraki had a lot more variety with all of the crazy quirks All for One had collected over all the years.
Yeah, he had
but none
tons.
that we know of could properly kill a curse. That didn't mean idle transfiguration was a surefire bet either, though.
Of
Yep.
all things, Shigaraki's vestiges served as a spiritual shield from the effects of idle transfiguration.
Yep.
The fact that Mahito could not
That
avoid
makes
targeting
sense why All
Sukuna
for One
or
appeared and
Yuji meant
he
that
couldn't
could
affect him at
target
all.
specific souls inside a
Because
person.
they're
Shiggy
treating
has
him like a
hundreds
separate
of
spirit.
soul-like entities inside of him. Sure, each one down means he loses a quirk, but that's more than enough time to land a single hit with Decay, especially considering how much faster Shiggy is.
And Mahito has no way to defend against Shigaraki's primary quirk.
Yep,
Decay has
Decay's
affected
broken, bro.
spiritual beings in the past. Again, vestiges. In fact, he was able
Yep.
to damage Deku's vestige and have that damage transferred to the Deku.
Yeah,
in the
Deku
real
lost his
world.
hands with that.
Mahito may be made of spirit energy, but he still
I think he
has a
got them
physical
back
form. In fact,
thanks to
sorcerers that
Eri,
couldn't
if I
naturally
remember
target the
correctly,
soul
but yeah.
were able to fight him on even footing. No reason crazy to think Shiggy wouldn't decay him like everyone else.
giving Shigaraki the third and final edge. It was a unique duel to the death, but Shigaraki's overwhelming might, unstoppable powers, and deadly decay spelled
Okay,
the
yeah,
end for the
I agree with
disaster.
this. I think
Nothing
Shigaraki,
else to
yeah.
say. You really gotta hand it to Shigaraki.
Yeah,
The
Shigaraki
winner
deserved to win
is
this.
Tomura Shigaraki.
Next time on Death Battle.
Yeah, I think that's interesting. I do think that Shigaraki deserved to win that fight, 100%. Survivability, honestly, yeah, that makes sense. I honestly thought Shigi had the edge on that, but I guess it makes sense that they'd give it to Mahito. Yeah. Overall, awesome fight. I haven't seen this one. Because it like there was I stopped watching Death Battles, I think after, what was it, the third Superman versus Goku? Or like the second? I don't know how many times they've done Superman versus Goku, but they did it quite a bit. So yeah, honestly, overall good. The description to the channel is gonna be in my description of the video, guys. So if you guys want to follow them, so you guys can watch like more Death Battles, it'll be in the description, as well as the link to this exact video. Honestly, remember, guys, you guys enjoyed watching this and want more similar like reaction, like if you guys want me to react to some other Death Battle, leave a comment down below on what Death Battle you guys want me to react to, and leave a like and comment, of course, and subscribe. That'd be greatly appreciated. Help me, grow my channel. That'd be greatly appreciated. Like I did again, twice. But yeah, thanks for watching, and as always, buenas tardes, buenas noches, and buenos dias, depending on where you're at. And thank you.